Hello, everyone, and welcome to this WCMA members only webinar. My name is Rebecca Sweeney, and I serve as Senior Director of Programs and Policy for the Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you here today for an important discussion of training resources in our industry. A lot of what we'll be talking about today is technical in nature, but we'll also touch on some leadership resources. A few housekeeping notes to begin with. If you have a question, we welcome them in the chat box. So please make use of that function, and then I will present your question at the end of our presentations today. Our presenters are going to give you an update of projects that they may be leading and also training resources that they are in charge of. We'll begin today with a look at what's happening at the Center for Dairy Research, and then continue on to UW River Falls. Then we'll hear from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. I'll close with a wrap of other industry resources coast to coast and a little bit of information about WCMA-led trainings before we get to that question and answer session. For now, it's an absolute pleasure to introduce you to a new face at the Center for Dairy Research, but already one that's creating positive changes in communications and making sure that the industry has full access to training offerings at CDR. Andrea Miller, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to sharing this information with you and just being part of this meeting today. As Rebecca mentioned, I am new to CDR as of the first of the year. So it's been great to hit the ground running. We have our second short course that just started today in our new training center. And so we are moving up to full operation on the training end at least, so we're really excited about that here. So today I wanted to go through just a very brief overview of who we are and what we do, and mainly provide more of an insight, a visual insight into what our new training facility looks like and what the center looks like, and then the registration pieces and how to get registered and what we have available for our clients and customers. So a brief overview, we like to talk about how we fit into Babcock Hall. And so we often get confused with the dairy plant, or are we one and the same? And so with our new facility, it's going to be even more of a distinction. However, noting that we really still work very closely together with the dairy plant, with food science, and of course, try to participate with the dairy store as well. So these are the 6 main buckets. If we were to kind of organize into 6 main buckets what we do, and today I'm going to really be focusing on the training and education component of our what comes out of the center. So I like to start with, where does the content, who are the brains and the experience behind the content of our training? Because I think that's the key unique feature that that comes out of our short courses and our training programs. So this is a glimpse of our cheese industry and application folks who are doing the research, who have been in the industry, who collaborate with the industry. And then these are our dairy products and processing group. Similar work, but with different products, powders, non-milk, fluid milk, that kind of thing. So this is where we end up with, in addition with quality and safety, this is where we're coming together, and that's how we come up with our course content. So all of that experience and all of that knowledge is coming into our course content. That's what builds our course content. So these are the main 6 categories of the content that we offer in various short course trainings, whether it's open enrollment to anybody, or if we do private trainings for private groups. So I'll spend a little bit of time talking about mode of delivery of our trainings. So as with everybody else, we've learned a lot over the last 2 years, making adjustments with online offerings. And we actually came up with a nice hybrid approach to what we offer for our delivery. So we will continue with some courses being online live, like our certificate in dairy processing course. We have a group of online self-study courses, and these are typically our fundamentals or our basic technical content. And then we have our in-person courses, which I'm going to give you a greater glimpse into what that might look like for somebody coming in. But this is going to be more of our advanced content. A lot of our hands-on courses will take place in person, of course, to make it beneficial for the attendee. And then we have our whole category of tailored and private group training. So we can do any of these as a self-study. We can set up a self-study module for a private group. We can do an online live private setting. We can do one of our online, traditionally online courses live for a private group. So there are various things we can do, even hybrid models for some self-study and then some in-person for private groups as well. And then getting into the new building and our new capabilities. So again, as I mentioned, I'm kind of coming into it in a really, really great spot because I get to see all what's new and I didn't have to endure any of the construction woes. So this is really exciting for me. But these are some of the key areas that if somebody comes in or when somebody comes in for an in-person training, they're going to get experience all of these components. We are on the west end of Babcock Hall, a new addition onto Babcock Hall. And so these are just some of the areas that a participant will experience. So in our auditorium, we can hold up to about 80 people for the lecture component of the training sessions. We use the atrium for various reasons. We do our lunches and all of our breaks in the atrium, which is nice to keep everybody in one spot and they don't have to travel during the day, so they can stay at the center for the full day. We can even do some demonstrations and extend our training into the atrium if need be as well. The pilot plant is the big difference here, whether it be equipment. We have various types of equipment that can be moved around for various applications. We have huge pieces of equipment like the spray dryer that we're very excited about. So various, lots of equipment opportunities in this new space. Of course, many different ways to offer training in cheese making, whether it be for a private client or for an open enrollment group. Any kind of cheese we can do here. Many options for different labs, so we can have labs happening at the same time. We can break people up into smaller groups so they're getting more of a hands-on experience and rotate them through the center. So within the pilot plant, as well as in our kitchen applications lab. So as you can see on the left, it's a vast room that can actually be broken up into two separate areas if needed. All of the hard surface tables can be moved around as necessary, so we can create different pods or different kinds of activity zones for different labs. So it's been great so far to get in there and really utilize the space. So as far as website and registration, so we're constantly working on updating and improving the usability of our website. We know that people want to just get on, find what they want to find, register what they want to register for, and then move on. So we're really continuing to try to keep updated with that. We've updated our mobile views for our website, and that seems to be functioning quite well. And then as far as our registration and actual the portals that we use to register folks, as well as deliver some of our trainings, such as the self-study modules, we use Events Air to capture all of that. So that's been working really well for us to stay organized on our end and stay in good communication with the participant. So when you head to the front page of our website, this is what you're going to see. And we have our three main categories up at the top: innovation, support, and training. So when you click on the training tab, that will give you an idea, and you scroll down a little bit, that'll give you the expandable version. These are the categories that I had mentioned: the cheese, dairy, proteins, processing, etc. And then when you click on the tab there, then you go to our specific site of what's open and out for registration. So as you can see, there's quite a variety with in-person, online self-study, it matches different needs for folks. And we are looking at not necessarily exclusively offering one course just one way. So perhaps we'll have a cheese making fundamentals, for instance, both offered online, self-study, as well as in person. So those are things that we're looking at for the future. But at this point, we're offering about 30 total trainings a year, and we'll be getting our fall schedule out within the next month. So the last one, we just wanted to share this quick video, gives you a little glimpse inside the pilot plant, and specifically, we're looking at our new specialty cheese caves with Andy Johnson.
All right, and away we go.
Hello, my name is Andy Johnson. I'm the Specialty Cheese Coordinator here at the Center for Dairy Research. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to find out more about CDR, and I want to invite you to come take a glimpse with us into some of the services and capabilities we provide here at CDR to help research and develop dairy products. In this short video, we would like to introduce you to our new cheese aging rooms here at CDR. In addition to having all the specialized equipment to manufacture many different specialty and artisan cheeses, we now have the capability to age these cheeses in the state-of-the-art aging rooms or caves, which is what I would like to discuss with you today. At CDR, we are fortunate to have 10 different aging or ripening rooms, each with their own individually controlled environment. Creating the correct environment for aging cheese is difficult, and many factors need to be taken into consideration and controlled for, including fresh air quality and exchange, air diffusion, and of course, temperature and humidity. Our state-of-the-art air handling systems will allow us to maintain very tight control over the cheese aging environment to maximize and target very specific parameters based on the requirements of the cheese. Given the number of rooms at our disposal, accommodating many different types of cheese, including bloomy rinded white molded cheeses, blue cheeses, bandaged cheddars, washed and smear ripened cheeses, eyed cheeses like Gouda and Swiss, and dry room capabilities for cheeses like Parmesan will not be a problem. Also, allowing for complete batch separation will not be an issue. With modern controls and interface systems, we can easily control and monitor room conditions and simultaneously record these data parameters for later reference. We would be happy to discuss any of your research or product development needs, and as our facility is fully licensed and inspected, we can help you start your business or develop new products for market. Please reach out if you have any questions or want to find out more. We look forward to working with you.
Oh, it looks so exciting.
It is exciting in here.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Andrea. And again, everybody who's on the on this call, on this Zoom, please feel free to enter your questions into the chat, and we'll be happy to field those questions about CDR offerings as we move forward.
Mhm.
Next, though, it's a pleasure for me to introduce to you Michelle Farner, who is the Dairy Pilot Plant Manager at the University of Wisconsin-River Falls. And she leads industry trainings there, including, I think, one today, right, Michelle? How do we have you pulling double duty today, don't we?
Yeah, we have our cheesemakers short course going on. It's our second day, so we'll finish up on Friday, and we have 5 people taking the state exam on Friday afternoon.
That's fantastic news. Thank you for moving people forward in that important way, Michelle, and for all that you're doing on the dairy plant project as well.
Yeah, we have some exciting things happening at River Falls. We have DR Tech is currently working on our installation of equipment, so it's really exciting to see things happen. It's also exciting to know that we have all of our stainless steel tubing and piping in-house, so we don't have to worry about supply chain issues there. But pictured, you'll see our ultrafiltration and reverse osmosis system that was built specifically for our dairy plant. We will have advanced cheese making, ice cream, and hopefully some butter making equipment. We're slated to have our plant completed by the end of this year. We ran into some challenging pieces with labor, as well as with supply chain issues on other pieces of equipment, but we are hoping to get started and to have things open again. So regarding our short course education, we have a picture of our infamous Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association training room. So that is where we are holding our cheesemaking short courses and our pasteurization short course. So we have a more intimate setting, and we have more capabilities of bringing in outside vendors to help with some of the education courses. And we have our food process engineering department that helps with the cheesemaking courses. And of course, our new hire, which is a dairy process research scientist. So Dr. Grace Lewis is here helping with our cheesemaking short course. We also offer dairy plant rental once that's up and running. And then we'll be adding to our slate of classes as well once the dairy plant is ongoing. Our focus too will be on quality assurance and preventive controls, qualified individual classes. So we'll be offering those as well coming soon. So right now we offer the cheesemaking short course twice a year. We offer the pasteurization short course. We have offered the pasteurization certification as an online class due to COVID, but we are bringing that back in person. We have found that the in-person class works very well with the learning of that particular material. We do offer HACCP currently, and that's with the International HACCP Alliance. That is offered every spring. But like I said, we'll be offering the preventive control qualified individual training, as well as the membrane workshop and the HTST heat exchanger preventative maintenance workshop, all coming soon. So we also can register online. So there's a link there. And then if you wanted further information on the dairy processing workshops, there's a link as well. One thing that I do work with companies, and I do customized training for individuals, and I have traveled to companies if they have a large group of people that need to be trained.
That's a tremendous resource, Michelle. And I think so often people are looking for that to say, well, we want someone to train on our pasteurizer, not your, because every machine has its own little quirks, doesn't it?
They do, absolutely.
So thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate you taking a little time away from the class that you're running today to give us an overview of the resources that are at UW River Falls and also that are coming soon. That's really exciting for all of us here in industry. Next up, we're going to feature our friends over at the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. And I'm pleased to introduce Adam Brock, who serves as Vice President of Food Safety, Quality, and Regulatory Compliance at that organization. Adam Brock comes with him a wealth of expertise and knowledge, hard earned over industry work. He was with Papa John's and Sargento and Food Safety Net Services and Smithfield, all in research and development and quality roles. So this guy knows what he's talking about, and we're so glad that he leads so many industry trainings on a yearly basis. Adam, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for the invite. And thanks to both Andrea and Michelle. We always try to partner with our partners in the state, including WCMA, for our educational offerings, right? Because we want to make sure, big picture, that Wisconsin dairy is protected. You know, it's a strong brand and we need to keep it protected. So I'll make this short because my educational offerings, I don't have fun videos to show you. I suppose I could sing and dance if you'd like, but that's not really my thing. So I'll go with the PowerPoint.
Next webinar, that's what we'll do, the Adam Brock Show, the next webinar.
I'll make it exciting, and then we'll have Andrea and Michelle join in. So for our DFW course offerings, we've had these offerings for a number of years. My predecessor had some of these trainings. We've adapted them, we've adjusted them. Every year we put out a survey to see what industry needs are. And some are standby courses, others are new, and some are retired. So we have three key areas: public short courses, which you'll find on our website. I include the link below. Some private short courses, which I think Michelle alluded to as well, that we do at Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. And then we recently started to launch this Dairy Food Safety and Quality Certificate. So when we get there, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Below, you'll see the link It's a mouthful there, wisconsindairy.org. Dairy Companies Food Safety. If you type in Google wisconsindairy.org food safety, you'll be able to find it. And if you can't find anything, feel free to contact me. If you contact anybody else on the list, they might get a hold of me as well. So we'll
And I'll
just jump into the
put in a
short.
plug, Adam. We feature all of your trainings on wischeesemakers.org, and we'll make sure that all of the industry training links that have been shared today get sent out in an email immediately following this webinar.
Perfect. Thank you. So we can move to the next slide. So our public short courses, the one you probably know us for the most is the Preventive Controls Qualified Individual. We've been running this since about 2015. Several times a year, at least twice a year, we'll do the short course. The Pepper Jack model that's used in the course was actually developed by some individuals at DFW, formerly WMMB, Sargento, and some other key players. So that was approved and is in the National Library. So that course, if you're using it, if you're using the Pepper Jack model, you know we worked on it. So, but that's one of our key courses. We also partner with others to do the Intentional Adulteration Vulnerability short course. So IAVA rule. We have two short courses. We used to have a Principles of Internal Auditing. It has been reworked. It sounds silly, but we called it Internal Auditing Principles, and we have built a Supplier Auditing Principles course based off that. So some things needed to be updated. So those are available this year. We always include things such as a HACCP and advanced HACCP, prerequisite programs. One that I felt was missing when I returned to Wisconsin was product labeling. I would say everybody that's involved in dairy knows there are challenges with labeling and regulations. So this course was a partnership, and it's continuing to roll out every year. Food defense, and then implementing SQF systems. So those are some of the DFW focused short courses. I did want to call out our partners at the Innovation Center. They also have a dairy plant food safety workshop several times a year in different parts of the US, but then they also have one that's specifically in Wisconsin. I believe they have a course in August, but we include that information on our website. And then there's a supplier food management workshop that is run by our friend Jim Miller that he does through the Innovation Center, both great courses. So these will, if they're available, they will be on the DFW website. So those are our public short courses. We can move on to the private short courses. So these are one-off courses that we've offered in the past, or somebody requests something from us. We had a series in 2018 and 19 on environmental monitoring programs tied to the Listeria monocytogenes guidance document that was released by FDA. So it was for ready-to-eat food. We had a short series that we brought forward a couple times with some industry partners. We've done some product traceability and product development short courses at the request of industry. And we do tailor, but we try to avoid overlapping. We never want to overlap with the great resources from WCMA, CDR, and River Falls. So we try to let everybody do their thing where they're specialized, and we go from there. So let us know if you need anything, and we'll get you to the right resource. So next, we've got the certificate series. This is relatively new. This came up several times in discussions with a couple different organizations. And what I received feedback on from both HR contacts that I had, as well as those in industry, was, it's great that we offer all these courses in the state, but what do they lead to? So this series was kind of developed looking back at my career and other people. What kind of skills do you need to be a solid technician? So when we looked at this, I said, well, these courses are all here. Let's partner with our industry. Let's work with our industry partners and get some courses and a certificate series in place. So you'll see here that there's several different levels. These are the first two levels. Right now, it's a soft launch rollout because I want to see how industry responds. And so far, we've had several companies approach us and say, yes, we want to run our people through these courses. Basic technician, if you're thinking about hiring a technician, or if you want to train a technician, They need to understand prerequisite programs, HACCP, PCQI, auditing, and dairy plant sanitation. All of those are already pre-made courses. Some are from the UW, some are from DFW, some are from CDR, some are from River Falls. They're all available, right? But we pull that together and say you're a solid level 1 technician if you can understand these concepts. And the same thing for level 2. We want to make sure that people understand pasteurizers, food defense, advanced HACCP. And then I have a CDR elective course here because we partner so closely with them. But it could be butter making, it could be cultured dairy products, anything that you're working with so that you can continue to grow. There are other programs, level 3 and level 4, that are built to also include a leadership component. I haven't released those yet, but those are the ones that we would like to see you go and take the leadership series at WCMA. Because right as you grow as a technician and then a technologist or a leader, supervisor, quality manager in your organization, it's not enough to just have this solid food safety knowledge. You have to understand how to lead people, not just a process. So as these continue to roll out and we get the industry a solid base, new employees, current employees, you'll see additional levels come out. And from there, the sky's the limit. Take it, run with it, build your dairy career, and make it a lifelong thing. Because I think everybody on this call wants to see dairy continue to grow, but we want people in solid careers in dairy. Great opportunities. Rebecca knows that as well as anybody else, the career in dairy. Same thing for John and everybody on here. So with that, I'd say these are just some tools that you have. Take them all, run with them, and grow your career. So,
Adam, thank you so much for the thoughtful construction of this new series. It's a fantastic opportunity for dairy manufacturers and processors. And we really appreciate the partnership. I think that comes through so much in Adam's presentations, but truly we're all working together for a common goal, and that is to help you train and retain your employees and to make sure that those employees have rewarding and exciting careers in dairy processing. So we appreciate so very much the partnership demonstrated today, again, by our friends at Center for Dairy Research and UW River Falls and Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. That said, there is a whole world of training available to you, and depending on where you're operating in the United States, there may be some other industry-specific trainings that may be appealing to you. So we just want to breeze over a few opportunities. This is not comprehensive, and there are other schools as well offering these kinds of majors, minors, and certificate trainings. But there's 4 that really our members have found a lot of success with, and the first is Cornell University. So if you're operating in that neck of the woods, it may make sense for you to partner with the Cornell Dairy Processing Plant for research and development or training and education. And there are a variety of fields of study available there through Cornell. There's certainly, if you're looking for a 4-year degree, that opportunity to get your degree in food science. But there are a lot of certificate programs as well that they run, and that's a mix of in-person and virtual offerings as well. Everything from an extension certificate on dairy foods to HACCP and sanitation and preventive controls. So we want to make you aware that that's a good resource, and these resources can also be found on WCMA's website. Just a quick put a pin in it. The University of Idaho has long been a leader in food safety, food science, and also just dairy in general, right? But there's a big project in the works out in Idaho to create the Center for Agriculture, Food, and the Environment. They're calling it CAFE, right? And this is coming online in about a year. So you'll hear a lot more about this project and some of the programs that they'll be offering in a future webinar from WCMA. North Carolina State University, that's a picture of one of the proud members of the Wolf Pack out there. They do have both food science and bioprocessing 4-year degrees. But there's a host of online on-demand courses that we found some success for WCMA members, and that's in HACCP training, environmental monitoring, preventive controls, and food safety. So if you're having trouble getting into a class around here, if you're looking for something immediate, A lot of those classes are on demand, and that might meet a need for you that's in the very near future. We also want to shout out to our friends at South Dakota State University. WCMA has been a strong supporter of this school and its work in the dairy processing field, and in fact contributed to the production, the creation of the Davis Dairy plant out there a few years back. Well, it's more like a decade now, but they're up and running and they're doing a lot out there for research and development, training and education. And as you can see, their fields of study really reflect that. They uniquely offer a dairy manufacturing degree and a dairy manufacturing microbiology degree, as well as food science, as many other universities do, and a food safety minor. So a really great opportunity for students who are looking to get a four-year degree lies out there in South Dakota. We also want to take a minute to breeze through some leadership trainings. They used to call these soft skills trainings, but I would call them essential skills trainings now, because we know that people don't usually leave a job, they leave a boss. And so your staff have a lot of abilities to create an environment in which people want to stay and they want to do their best. And that's the goal of our work with these programs. They're intended to be very accessible and affordable. Our frontline supervisor trainings are ideal for individuals who are managing small teams or who are new to a management role, just getting started in their career as a supervisor. There's the series of 3 different classes. They can be taken a la carte and in any order, but they focus generally on stress and time management, on communication and conflict resolution, and also in how to provide good employee performance feedback so that you get the results that you want. Those classes are day long, and as you see here in the image captured, a lot of them are offered virtually. So this is a great opportunity for folks who might not be able to free up their employee to hit the road and go somewhere for a training, but might be able to log them online so that they can engage with others in their industry and learn more about their leadership role. The next step up in our series is the Advanced Leadership Training Series. And this is really intended for mid-level managers, people who've been maybe in their role for a while and need to brush up on some of their skills, or people who are leveling up. They're going from a frontline supervisor position to something a little bit broader, and they're managing a larger team, and maybe they're interacting with your owners or your top management to guide the future of a business. So this course is also 3 classes, but everybody in this class goes through it as a cohort. And the intent there is so that people can develop relationships within industry and get to know one another and work together to solve their problems. We also find that they discover that the problems that they have are problems that others have as well. And so the grass isn't always greener, and that's sometimes an important message to learn in our trainings. We are offering these as hybrid offerings, so people can join online if they must. We certainly have had some folks join us from Tennessee, New York, Ohio, California, and that is definitely an easier way to access this class. But as you see, there's a lot of folks who also want to join us in person, and we think that's fantastic. This class focuses on the next level of leadership essentials. So while we're talking about a lot of the same things, conflict resolution and communication, it's on a broader scale. And it's also about guiding inclusivity practices within a business, creating an environment where people can feel safe and can grow, identifying individuals who are ready to level up. And the folks who go through this class are also tasked with doing a project throughout their class. So they're really putting their new skills to use immediately, and you get to see that happen over the course of their training. We're also fortunate to be able to feature in these classes industry leaders, some of them CEOs, presidents of their companies, and they share their insights on what's worked and what hasn't, and that's really always a fantastic learning opportunity. Finally, we offer next step leadership classes, and this is intended for anyone who's been through either of our leadership training series or who's been around the block for a while and just wants a day to refocus on what they are doing as a leader and if they're being intentional about some of their practices. We also focus a deep dive on an annual basis on a different topic. So last year we talked about diversity and inclusion. This year we're focusing on retention strategies. So we try to pick a hot topic in human resources and leadership, and that class is coming up on March 31st. In fact, all of our spring offerings of frontline leadership are just about full, and we're just about to launch our fall offerings of both frontline leadership and advanced leadership. So you can watch for registration on withcheesemakers.org, or you can contact me at any time and I'll make sure that you get some space in those programs. They do fill up quickly, but we do have the ability to also add new courses as demand suggests. Now it's time for us to focus on some questions that you all have and provide some answers. We did have a few questions that were provided in advance, so we'll warm up with those questions, and then we'll transition to anything that's in the chat. And now's your time, enter those questions in the chat. So I'd encourage all of my fellow presenters, Adam, Michelle, and Andrea, get ready, here we go. The first question that we have is, I think, a really thoughtful one. As training providers, do you think virtual offerings can be as effective as in-person classes? So I know that you all have offered a mix of these, and sometimes there's a necessity for virtual learning, as we've discovered over the past couple of years. But what's your take on this? Maybe I'll start with Adam. His camera's turned on.
Yeah. I think at first, and this is just an opinion, but I think at first some of the training offerings being virtual were very useful to industry. Personally, I feel that the courses we offer in person is preferred. I can gauge the audience better. I don't think any amount of quizzes, halfway points, we've tried that with virtual offerings. I've just found it's hard to gauge your audience. Before you know it, you see eyes darting around the screen and you know they aren't paying attention. If I have you in a room, I can find you and I know when you've lost engagement. So sometimes we'll have multiple speakers or we'll shift topics. So my personal thought, are they as effective? No, I think they're close, but I think that human interaction is much more valuable and it leads to other opportunities in networking. So close, but I just don't think we're there yet. That's my thoughts on it.
Thanks, Adam. Andrea, Michelle, your thoughts on the same topic?
I would echo some of those same comments. We've been rolling that back and forth, understanding that with the virtual offerings, we're able to reach more people, and it may be more flexible for folks to attend. But as far as the engagement during the actual session and distractions and things like that, we feel that the in-person tend to be more effective in that regard. And in some cases, getting their hands right in some of what they're talking about too, touching it, feeling it, tasting it makes a big difference too.
I would think a sensory experience is definitely unparalleled in person. So,
Right.
And everybody's excited to get into your facility too, Andrea. The same is true for the folks up in River Falls. Michelle, what's your take on this?
I would completely agree that the in-person courses are much more effective. And I've had students who come in for the courses and they say the same thing, that it's much easier. The networking is there, just interacting with people. I do notice that more questions are asked when it's in person versus online. And so the flow of the course is much easier. It's better. I think that it's a more rich program when you can have it in person.
All right, folks, you heard it first, the old school panel of us folks. We'd say in person's ideal, but truly virtual's come a long way. And I'm really excited about making classes available to folks who have not had the opportunity to attend them before, because we're offering them online. I would say some education's better than no education, right? And it's our goal always, and I think I can speak for all the groups here, to make sure that those joining in a class virtually have an awesome experience. And I can say for WCMA, we've found high level of satisfaction in our leadership trainings that are offered online. So it may be the difference between technical kinds of trainings where it might be a little bit more essential to be there hands-on versus talking about theories and sort of playing those out. The next question that we have from the audience is, in addition to technical training for our production staff, we need basic computer skills classes for our staff. Do you have any recommendations? I can field this one. We often direct people to our technical colleges, and I'm happy to help with that as well. Your technical schools in your area oftentimes will have a basic 4-week course that will meet some of those needs. And WCMA can explore offering that kind of material online, because I feel like we get this question more and more. And as evidenced even in today's Zoom, it's important for all of us to keep brushing up on our skills. This is an area for ongoing learning. This is a question for the whole group, I think. Are any of you planning to offer food safety or production classes in Spanish? We know there's a need out there. I think that sometimes it's been hard to figure out how big that need is, how many people there are out there who need to go through some of the classes that we offer. So I wonder if anyone in the panel wants to field this one first. Michelle?
I can speak to that. We are actually in the process of putting classes together that are in Spanish for those Spanish-speaking professionals. And so, yeah, that's something that we recognize as a need. We've been asked to do that, so we are moving forward with those plans.
That's awesome. Michelle, do you have an ETA on that? I'm sure that whoever asked this question is interested in something now.
Right. So hopefully something by fall. I don't think that it's something that we can do before then, but hopefully by the fall, we'll be able to have those classes.
That's really exciting. Thanks so much for the update. Andrea, I saw you go unmute as well.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we're in the similar planning stages as far as offering in Spanish. We're looking at our certificate in dairy processing, as well as cheese making fundamentals to start. So we have a researcher and 2 other cheese making folks on staff that speak Spanish as a first language. And so we're looking at how to incorporate the realities of translation with the industry terms and the challenges with that. But we're moving in that same direction. The need is there, definitely.
That's exciting. And I think it's fair to say that if you have employees who are looking for this kind of training, or if you're looking for that kind of training for your employees, let any of us know, because it really helps to know what the critical mass of a class might be, how many people are looking for this resource. So let us know, and we'll be happy to try to meet those needs. Everybody on this panel is passionate about delivering what it is you need to grow your business and to train up your employees. Adam?
I believe that the Preventive Controls Qualified Individual course has some materials. We haven't offered it yet. We would probably partner with someone, but I believe there's materials for that in a number of languages. So again, I think I would echo Rebecca's comments on, if we know that there's a core group, that for us right now would probably fall under a private training. But it's something to consider. I think we have to. When I was in the meat industry, a lot of trainings were in Spanish, simply because if you work at any meat company, that was where a number of the employees came from. So the training and the materials need to be there to ensure that everybody's well trained. So yep. I don't have any timeline there for you, Rebecca, but
no, yeah, we're all working on it. The training, the materials, and then also as a question from our live chat suggests, the testing also needs to be in Spanish. And one of the questions from our chat is, do they, and I think we're going to guess this is Wisconsin, offer a cheesemaker licensing test in Spanish? And I'm really happy to report that yes, the state of Wisconsin does offer this now. WCMA and I think some of our organizations worked really closely with the current administration to make this change. I would say that there aren't necessarily study materials for that licensing test in Spanish. There really needs to be a course in Spanish to pair with that. But if the real concern is that your employee knows what they need to know to get their cheesemaking license, but they're, let's say, a little concerned about taking a test that isn't in their native language, that need has been met. So I'm happy to follow up with the individual who had that question, but just want everyone else to know too that WCMA can help point you in that direction. Similarly, a question about whether there's an HTST test in Spanish. I don't think we're there yet, but I think that we could get there. So again, helpful to know what the critical mass is of individuals who need that kind of opportunity. I also want to say that WCMA is in the process of creating an industry-wide video onboarding series. So this would be appropriate for anybody in the dairy manufacturing and processing field, and potentially also suppliers. And it covers a swath of everything from food safety to how our industry is growing, to career opportunities, lingo that you'll hear in your first days at work. It's an onboarding series, and we're going to offer that in Spanish and actually also in Hmong. So I think importantly, we're also going to be interviewing people in those languages so that those who are speaking English are also receiving a video onboarding series where they're going to hear other voices. And I think that sends a message that this industry is diverse and it's growing in really wonderful ways. So we want to thank everybody for those questions. That's all that we have in the chat right now. So I want to thank our distinguished panel for taking the time out of their really busy schedules to join us and to share some of the things that they're working on and delivering for the industry in terms of training and education. Your wonderful resources and your outstanding partners, we really couldn't ask for anything more. And I encourage everybody watching this Zoom to get in touch with those folks to meet some of the training needs that you have. I also want to invite our members to join us again for our next WCMA member webinar. This one focuses on grants for growth, how to find and apply for federal and state funding. There are a lot of dollars out there right now to help you grow your business, and we would love to see you get some of them. So join us April 19th from 1 to 2, same time, same channel, and registration's available now at whizcheesemakers.org. Thank everyone again for joining us. Have a wonderful day.